All right. Good morning. Greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. Hopefully today the mic sounds a whole lot better than yesterday because I'm your host, Dan Thornton, and welcome to the Lions Talk Live Morning Show edition. Hey, it's great to have everybody around today. I think we got a pretty good one for you guys. And getting, closer and closer to the start in training camp. Now, really just about 2 weeks away from rookies reporting and all that kind of stuff. Got a couple of topics for you guys to take a peek at in 5 headlines now. We'll get to that shortly. But if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, I got to ask, why not? So, hey, if you would be so kind, consider subscribing. We are 40 subs, 50 subs, something like that away from hitting 6,900. And, of course, the march is on for 7,000. Also, when you're watching the video, if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the channel, whatever it is, if you enjoy Mountain Dew, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Go ahead. It takes you just a half second of time to hit that button, and it's free of charge. You probably already know if you're watching YouTube, it helps the channel out exponentially. So, hey, try to get each video to 200 to 300 thumbs up. All right, so we've got a topic that came up yesterday. ESPN debating the Detroit Lions. Did they do enough this offseason to become legitimate contenders for the Super Bowl? You know, last year, hey, everybody watching this is probably aware Lions came within, just a couple plays of making their first ever Super Bowl. Yes, they've won the NFL championship before. Yes, they were a dominant team of the NFL in the 50s, and maybe you could even argue a little bit for other before that decades in the NFL. But what we can say is this is the most probably joyous time ever to be a Detroit Lions fan outside of maybe the 90s a little bit and going back to the 50s. There's a lot of expectations. Let's be fair, and the Lions are going to be analyzed perhaps more than 95% of the rest of the league when this season comes forward. I am predicting, as I've said before, the Lions are going to start the season off probably around 8-0. That's my expectation for the schedule, the lineup, the home games, etc. I think we've got the depth to make it happen. But let's see what our friends over at ESPN had to say. Let's see what their thoughts were on it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this show, get things going. We'll get to your comment sections after we do the 5 headlines now and the main topic of it, which is going to be a video from ESPN today. So I want to give full credit to where credit is due. So without further ado, let's get on over to 5 headlines now. All right. Hope you guys like that new little intro there for 5 headlines now. All right. 5 headlines now. Let's get rolling. Aiden Hutchinson on Lions. Quote, I think it's well-deserved hype. That's from Next Impulse Sports, story by Kevin Harris. So he goes in, does a deep dive, and I think a couple other outlets have borrowed this story or taken bits and pieces of it, going and thrown it on over and said, hey, Hutchinson does a good job of diving into why the Detroit Lions should be one of the expected better teams in the NFL this upcoming 2024/25 season. Hutchinson gives his thoughts, and it's clear, based on what he's saying, his comments about some of the other guys on the team is aware of the expectations, and they seem to be embracing it. They like the fact they are now one of the kings of the NFL, and they want to hold on to that spot. Darren Arnold brings the fun swagger to the Lions defense. That's from USA Today. Of course, story by Jeff Risden, who's been on this show before. Most Lions fans, I'm going to guess, probably know who he is, but he does a little bit of a dive on Arnold. Arnold, hey, a lot of people are speculating, could he be Defensive Rookie of the Year? Is this defensive system going to give him a lot of opportunities to get sacks, picks, make plays? Hey, the kid's got some swagger. He's got some confidence, and I believe that's going to show through in this upcoming season. Let's see what Risden has to say. You had a time today. Go ahead and check it out. A little bit of a different story here. Bears running back DeAndre Swift has overcome the, quote, soft label from Lions tenure. Bleacher Report, and that's from Andrew Peters. Peters does a dive in how things were in Detroit. I think I'll probably take this with me throughout the rest of my life. DeAndre Swift, the coaching staff decided to move on from him just before the Dallas Cowboys game. Not last year, but the season prior. Swift's last season with us. The coaching staff clearly felt like he was able to go. Swift said, nah, I need another week or so to rest. So it is what it is at this point. It's ancient history. But DeAndre Swift coming at it from I guess if you read the story, you could say, hey, he's evolved, he's matured, he's become older, a little bit wiser. He sees things a little bit differently. So I liked the guy when he was here. Not everybody gets to stay, though, with the Lions, and now he's got a little bit different perspective. All right, Detroit Lions get $400 million from NFL revenue sharing. That's from Crane's Business, Detroit Business, by Jay Davis. So this is a different aspect. I wanted to go outside the normal media outlets and get just a business perspective. Try to add that to the show from time to time. Crane's actually does a real good job talking about stories that affect Detroit overall and the state of Michigan as far as how they impact different aspects of the financial ecosystem that we experience here in Michigan. So if you want something that's not exactly sports related, but you want to get into some of the crunching numbers that pro sports teams can analyze, you might want to check out this story. I think they do a real good job with it. And by the way, Detroit's going to get more than just that $400 million from the revenue share. When it all comes out, when all the things get processed, Detroit's going to get a whole lot of money. Now, if you want, go check that out. Jay Davis, real good financial guy. All right, Lions general manager describes cornerback competition as bloodbath. That's from Yard Barker, story by Aaron Becker. And you know what? I think he's right. We've all talked about it all off season. This is one deep NFL team, let alone the Lions' secondary positions. There are going to be guys who can play legitimate cornerback position that they're sound NFL players that are not going to make this team. And you know what? Yard Barker, or Becker, I should say, the author of this story, he does a pretty good job analyzing the issues the Lions are going to have, having to choose who stays, who goes. There's going to be some good dudes on the sidelines. All right, without further ado, that is the end of 5 headlines now. Now let's get over to the main topic of the day. All right, so the main topic, like we said in the thumbnail, ESPN recently did a deep dive analyzation on Get Up about the Detroit Lions. They talk about it with a couple of the different analysts, and that's the big question. Did the Lions do enough to improve this team this offseason? Did they do enough to get to the promised land? That's what I want to see with you guys. Watch the clip, listen to what they have to say, and then I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comment section, which I know a number of you will do. If Broski is out there listening, I want to hear his comments. Because, Broski Bear, I get you're on a self-imposed hiatus, but it would be cool if you could hop in the comment section and give us your thoughts on it. All right, let's go ahead and get over to the video.
Douglas about the Detroit Lions made it all the way to the NFC Championship game last year, so they're good, but they did have issues in the secondary. So the question, Harry, is did the Lions do enough this offseason to fix their secondary?
Yes, I think the only way for them to go this season is up. They allowed 69 explosive passes last year, which was last in the NFL. That's passes of 20-plus yards or more. But they went out and got Super Bowl champion Carlton Davis. They also drafted Terrion Arnold from Alabama. They're going to have Emmanuel Mosley coming back this season, who didn't play in 2023 because of an injury. But we also know that the pass rush plays an integral part in what the secondary does. And when you have Aiden Hutchinson and you go get him help with DJ Reader, you also bring in Marcus Davenport, and then you're going to have James Houston coming back. This defense is going to be extremely better than they were a season ago.
Mike T., how you feeling about Detroit's defense?
Oh, I love what they did. I agree with what Harry said. And look, if the four of us were running the Detroit Lions at the end of the season, I would have used the verb scour. Fellas, we got to scour to improve our secondary, and that's exactly what they did. They went the veteran route with Carlton Davis and then those draft choices as well. So I love what they did.
All right, the other team in the NFC.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, finally.
All right, there we go. End of the video there. So here we go. What are your guys' thoughts? I've given you my perspective, my takes on it. Let's see what you guys have to say in the comment section. So let's head on over. And hey, I think they make some good points. I think they kind of miss on a few points too. But let's see what the Duke crew has to say about all this morning. All right, Mike the Marine, getting us started in the comment section. Howdy, Dan, Lions favorite. Love the show and Duke crew. Woo! And, good morning to you too, Gunny. Hopefully you have an outstanding morning, my friend. And just for you, just because you got to start it off, let's go ahead and give you a little bit of shout out on the woo. Always love those things, man. Probably need to update them, though, a little bit. All right, Bo, good morning, Duke crew. Enough question mark. Always give me more. I see Super Bowl. Woo! too. And yes, I concur that, hey, with $40.5 million in cap, and I get that's not official yet until the NFL Players Association steps in and makes a final ruling on the Cam Sutton situation. But hey, like we talked about in the news video at the end of the day yesterday, with the league stepping up, with the NFL stepping up and putting Cam Sutton out for the first 8 games the next season, I'm going to guess it puts the Players Association in a real hard spot to be able to contest whether or not Sutton should get back the requested $4.5 million from his cap that was voided. So all that seems to be pointing towards that the NFL Players Association is going to have to just say, hey, Cam Sutton, sorry for your situation. It might not be ideal, but the Detroit Lions have the right to keep those funds. So wait and see what shakes out eventually. But even if they say, hey, Cam Sutton gets that money, Lions still have $36.5 million then, or $36 million in cap space. So we'll go with that. All right, Brent. Good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Lombardi or bust. Oh yeah, little macho man for you. Hey, everybody loves the macho man, the macho man. And so wait, we'll see what we can do with the macho man. And I'll try to get that's the wrong one. Well, it happens. So sorry I didn't get the macho man on there. There you go. There's the macho man just for you. All right, back to the comments section. Keep things rolling, going. Robert, greetings and salutations back at you, Robert. Hopefully you're having an outstanding morning, my friend, and a great one. Thanks for always being a part of the show, by the way. Bo, my Ramasil is an ever-present, ever-dream of the Lombardi Trophy. Okay, well, who doesn't want to dream about the Lombardi Trophy coming to Detroit? I'm going to say this. We win that, I might take the day off the day after the victory just to sit back and let it all marinate. Clark, good morning, all. ESPN is like everyone else this time of year, digging for things to talk about, but let's see what they have to say. Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying there, Clark. I know there are some people that they're over the off season. They're ready for new news, new information, to be able to see guys on the field, see them improving or just whatever it is. They're over all the speculation. Hey, the rumors. Hey, this guy's going to get traded. This guy's going to trade. What if we do a 3-team trade? I mean, whatever it is, everybody's ready for the season, but we still got a few more weeks to go before we get there. All right, Stephanie, good morning, boys! Exclamation point. Who's ready to see the rookie class hit the field? Ooh, that's a good question. I am hoping we have another strong group. Hey, if Brad really turns water into wine or whatever you want to say with this rookie class, then, man, his legend, Brad Holmes' legend, just continues to shine. I'd say it's reasonable expectations that Terrion Arnold is going to get significant snaps this year. Whether or not he's a starter, we'll wait and see. He's got to earn that right. But I think the expectation is he's going to get out there and perform. Rakestraw, probably the same boat. You're going to see him get out there on the field, I would think, quite often. But, maybe not. Maybe as a rookie, both of them have to work their way into the lineup. After that, Baki, probably on special teams, maybe a little bit as a running back here and there. We'll see how much he impacts the team. After that, though, I think you're probably right. A lot of the guys are going to need time to kind of be grown, developed, brought up to the speed of the NFL game. Now, what they get out of the preseason, how much that helps exacerbate their growth, let's wait and see. All right, Lance, hey, all, good morning. I think we did more than enough this spring to help improve the team. Don't you all think so? I would say, yeah. I don't think there's been any aspect of the team that's been, left to the sideline. I mean, think about it. Kicker has been addressed. Now there's a competition between two pretty good NFL kickers. Who's going to make it? That's what training camp's for. The secondary has been gutted, replaced, rebuilt, and the hope is that it's going to be vastly improved. Linebacker core, I would say, is probably the one spot that really didn't get much attention one or the other, but I think that's also because the team is pretty happy, confident with the guys that they have. So with all that being said, I like the linebacker position. I didn't think it needed a lot of work, and they have some depth there with Rodrigo, among other guys. Defensive line, hey, that's been improved in my humble opinion. Plus, you'll have another season out of Broderick Martin to help him grow, get improved, get acclimated to the NFL game. Offensive line, defense, wide receiver, tight end, running back, quarterback, I guess you'd say, with Hendon Hooker now here, finally able to play yeah, it's all been addressed. All right, Miles, good morning. Did they do enough? Question mark. Seems like roster changes only address the weakness of lines, the secondary, but third quarter malaise and lack of in-game adaptation is the coaching issue. Yeah, I would say that you're pretty spot on with that, Miles. I think a lot of it just comes down to, and I know we've talked about it this offseason, the coaching staff needs more experience. They need to have more answers built in here so when the problem arises in the game, it just clicks faster. They're able to make those in-game adjustments faster. And hey, the only way you get that typically is just from repeated repetitions of being in the moment in the games. I thought by the end of the year, they were getting better with some things, but Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn still get caught off, and so does MCDC too. A lot of these guys are just younger, less experienced coaches, but they are improving and growing. All right, France, good evening all. I think we did more than enough to improve several areas of the team in depth. Yeah, I think that's going to be the overall consensus from a lot of different people. You're going to see people talk about, hey, did the Lions do this? Do they do that? I think if you're a Lions fan and you paid attention, you've been pretty happy with all the different moves the Lions, Brad Holmes, have done this offseason. But if somebody's got a gripe, if somebody's got something, man, we should have done this, we should have done that, then go ahead and throw it in the comments section because I'm not readily thinking of anything that I'd be complaining about. Eric Mangini gave a short but terrific shout out to the Lions recently. Had to sort through the Karen Rodgers funneling first. Surprised he likes Steelers acquisition of Fields and Wilson as much. If nothing else, I could see Mangini's point when it comes to Fields and Wilson just because it gives them some quarterbacks that have proven at the NFL level they can do some things. It's nothing against some of their other quarterbacks they've had. They just weren't impactful players. Maybe Wilson has a little bit of a resurgence there. Maybe Fields just gets developed a little bit more. I'll still say this. If it would have been me with the Chicago Bears, I would have kept Justin Fields. It's nothing against Caleb Williams. I just like Fields' upside if you continue to get him developed. And I would have used all that other capital into other aspects. Just say, greetings, salutations, everyone. ESPN isn't what it used to be, but that doesn't mean all the workers, I think, are trash. I think the answer is yes. We've done a ton of improving. Holmes has been brilliant. I'd say, especially with the last part, it's hard to find anything in 4 years that Brad Holmes has not done well. If you guys are thinking of something, let me know. It doesn't mean every drafted player has been great or every trade has been off the charts. I can't remember the wide receiver we traded for his first year here. Trinity Benson from the Denver Broncos. For a reason, he just didn't work out. But he's kind of the asterisk. He's not the rule. Trinity Benson, that is. All right, Drake, greetings and salutations. My only question is how quickly the new additions get up to speed with the team. I think it'll probably take a few games for sure. Rookies, hey, they're going to go through rookie moments. They're going to have to go through rookie improvements. As far as all the additions, Davis the third or whatever, Marcus Davenport, any of the guys that you've brought in who are veterans, my guess it's only going to really take them a couple of games to kind of just figure some things out, get the terminology all built in, where they can do it without thinking. Veterans typically go through changes a whole lot easier and faster than rookies because, let's face it, the rookies are going through a lot of new life experiences, being off campus, the funds they now have access to, most of them at least have access to. They've got to do a lot of growing up and maturing. All right, Pat. Hey, Dan. Oh, yeah. What camp position battle are you looking for the most? I'm going to say the cornerback spot. That's probably, Pat, what I'm looking at the most as being the most competitive, the deepest, and I think you're going to force guys to rise to the top without question. Wide receiver room is going to be pretty dang good too, but I will say this. St. Brown's on a different planet when it comes to what he does or can do as a wide receiver. Jamison Williams, I am expecting a whole lot out of this summer, this fall, and then obviously into the season. The other one I really want to see, Pat, is probably the quarterback position. And not that I think there's going to be a competition between Hooker and Goff. I just want to see what Hooker does in the preseason. And I know I've said it before on the show. I want to see what he does from a growth standpoint, pre-snap and post-snap, from a week-to-week basis. I'm hoping they give him 50, if not 75% of all the quarterback snaps during the preseason to just try to get him as developed as possible. It is possible he gets to play a little bit this season. We have some good blowout wins or whatever it may be. Maybe he gets some snaps during the regular season, but I want to see him grow and how quickly he can grow during the preseason games. All right, Doug, do enough, ? Remember the top 4, Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, Branch, ? We think we did this year. Most of us admit cornerback was our biggest thorn. Potentially, we got one of 2 solutions in 3 to 4 additions. Woo! And I'll go with that. Yeah, I think Davis, there's no way you're keeping him out. Carlton Davis, one of the top 2, maybe even 3 cornerback spots. I think he's probably a lock to start the season as your number 1. After that, I think is where it gets interesting. Robertson, I could see opening day being the number 2 if Carlton's number 1, and then maybe Arnold number 3. But who knows, man? If Emmanuel Mosley comes in, let's not forget how good of a player he was before blowing out both ACLs. And I think he comes on in, guns blazing, knowing he's fighting for his career. Maybe he's the opening day number 3, which allows the Lions to bring Rakestraw, Arnold in slowly. But either way, you're going to have a ton of guys out there balling, trying to get positions, trying to make this 53-man roster. Because most of the guys, especially the vets, do believe this team has a chance to win the Super Bowl. And if you haven't won one before, you view this as one of your best opportunities to get there. You're going to be all in on it. All right, Pat. One time, are you going to any of the training camps? Probably not, just because of the drive and the time off work. For me, work-wise, not just from a scouting standpoint, but also from a real estate standpoint, it's just one of the busier times of the year. If I happen to do some showings or something over that way, then yeah, I'll stop on by for a little bit, but I probably won't be in it too much of the training camp stuff. I am going to try to go unless Detroit News does hire me to replace Justin Rogers, which I don't think that's going to happen because I just can't move over to that side of the state to be there on a regular basis. Jen would probably scalp me if that happened. All right, Doug, when's the last time ESPN had to talk about, quote, if we did enough, end quote, shows you a lot. Yeah, it shows how much the Lions have changed. I think you're spot on, Doug. ESPN's coming out and saying, man, have the Detroit Lions of all teams done enough this offseason to go ahead and step on up? Yeah, it's an interesting thought, but I will say, yeah, I think they have. And, I'm going to say, I think the Lions, this is the best opportunity any of us will have ever seen for them to really get to the Super Bowl and win it. You could throw last year in there too. They probably really should have been there, but you know what? So be it. I would compare what happened with last year's NFC title game to sort of like, if you guys are, anybody who's old enough to remember this, the Detroit Pistons, when Larry Bird stole the inbound pass, laid it up or gave it to DJ, laid it up, laid it in. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when Isaiah Thomas's run with the Bad Boys, the year before they won 2 years before they won their first NBA title, they had the Celtics on the rope in Boston, 5 seconds left. They forced a turnover, ball out of bounds. Inexplicably, instead of Rick Mahorn inbounding the ball, Isaiah Thomas kind of panics, runs in, and just kind of panic throws it in. Larry Bird steals it, throws it underneath to his point guard, Dennis Johnson, who lays it up and in. And, it really steals a great opportunity for the Detroit Pistons to potentially have gotten to the NBA Finals maybe a year earlier than they did. So I kind of equate what happened last year with the Detroit Lions to that situation. So is what it is at this point. All right, Bo, to all those unhinged ravers dissing us, can't get rid of me just to try to survive your stupidity. Yeah, I don't know if people are dissing us, but I'm sure everybody's throwing some salt or whatever you want to say at the Detroit Lions. Hey, that's part of being an NFL fan. If you're not one of our fan base, we're going against you. Hey, that's what fans do. All right, Lions fan number 1, greetings, salutations to everyone in the new crew, ! Any updates on the tailgate for everyone to meet up at? I've thrown it out there. How about September 15th, the Tampa Bay game? Early enough in the year where the weather should be sound. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I've only heard a couple people say yay or nay, so I don't know if there's enough interest in it or not. Bo, Tampa Bay game tailgate. There we go. Detroit D, good to see you this morning. Greetings, salutations, everyone. Greetings, salutations to you too, my friend. Doug, the school Arnold played at and great coaching and his familiarity with Branch all lead to quick simulation into our defense. Add just Reader and Coach Williams alone, Amik and Davis and Davenport. Yeah, add in all those guys, plus some of the other rookies, plus some of the guys that were rookies last year that are going to be developing. I think the Lions defense, I know I've said it a few times this offseason, I think they're going to be real fun to watch. I think they're going to be bringing pressure and getting after people throughout the entire season. Miles, Bo Booth, let's see. Bo, do we have to have tickets to the game to tailgate, or is there just a charge to enter the parking lot tailgate area? That I'll have to work on. If we do have enough people interested, I would think if we can just get a tailgate spot, there's probably not a cost other than, for just getting the spot to tailgate at. As far as everybody stopping by or whatever, I don't know. We'll work on those kind of things. Maybe everybody bring a dish to pass. Maybe, I don't know, a beverage for you to drink or something like that. More than anything, just a meet up and hang out type thing. Get to know each other. Quentin, great salutations, y'all. What's going to happen is Holmes did us good. We're going to see a lot of dudes rise on up to the top, same as every season. Let the man do his thing and cook. Yes, Brad Holmes is great at what he does. We think he's done with stuff for the season, but he might not be. I mean, the guy's got almost $40 million in available cap space. Could he go out and acquire some other guys who get cut or removed from other teams for whatever reasons, financial reasons? Maybe team wants to go in a different direction. It is possible, 100%. And good morning to you too, Quentin. All right, Bo, good question, mile marker. Yeah, I'll have to try to work on that. Brent, I think we did enough, but worried about how long it will take our new secondary to gel. Hey, that's going to be a problem with any team in the NFL. You bring in new people. People got to, grow, develop. It's going to take some time, but I will say I think we're going to be fine in time. Maybe give the secondary a couple games to get into sync with each other, plus the coaching staff. But the opposite side of that is the offenses they're facing are probably going to have to go through some learning opportunities as well. All right, Steve Rogers, good morning, all. My answer is yes. We've done a lot of good this offseason. Yeah, I think most Lions fans would agree with that. Doug Williams, Deshaun Townsend, and AG. Really depends on how well their minds mesh, molding several young and new pieces together as a simple, destructive machine. Yeah, I think they're going to have a real good, fun time this offseason, this preseason, getting everybody on the same page. So I would agree with that, Doug. Jason, last year's rookie class was one for the ages. I'm anticipating some great play from this year's Superdome or bust. Yeah, I think the rookie class this year should stand out in time. I think there are a few more developmental guys than maybe we've had in the last few years, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. Last year's class every class that Holmes has drafted is going to start getting better and better just as they get more experience. It's hard to believe that Penei Sewell could actually get vastly better or improved, I should say. Same with Laporta, same with Branch. I mean, all these guys, the fact that they could still have upside, that's incredible. All right, Phil, all depends on injuries. We are deep enough to play at a high level with second-team players. Yeah, 100%. One or two guys go down for a couple weeks. It probably shouldn't be the end of the season for us. Really, there's only one. I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to speak it into existence. But there's probably only one spot on the team where you do not want to see somebody on the sideline for a bit. Bo, here's how I feel, Phil. Unlike in past years, we are deep, 100% across the team. Running back. I mean, we all want Gibbs out there all the time, but is David Montgomery a pretty good player? Yes, he is. Do we think Baki or Reynolds, if Reynolds is the other one who makes it, are they capable? Absolutely, 100%. Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the new crew. I think we have all we need. Maybe some strong backups. Yeah, I think we have a lot of good backups. And I think especially on that defensive line, the defensive front, we're going to see a lot of guys get rotating around and in. David, what do you got? Good morning, Duke crew. Stay safe and hydrate. Yes, it's going to be a hot one out today. And then I think tomorrow, Jen was saying something like it goes down to like the high is 68 degrees or something like that. So enjoy the heat while you got it because it'll be nice and cool, my kind of weather. Get it down to the 40s and 50s real soon here, hopefully. All right, Hookadoo, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Woo! Did we do enough? Question mark. I think we did. Go Lions. We added more to the incredible team we already have. Yeah, and I know when I've talked about the Lions' expectations for who they're going to have to go through to get to the Super Bowl this year, I do think Dallas and the 49ers are going to take a step back this year. That doesn't mean that everybody else in the division don't make a step forward. I think Green Bay, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I do anticipate Chicago is going to be much better. Are they going to be a playoff team? We'll wait and see. The Rams, I think, will be an improved team as well, just because so much of their team last year were young. But unfortunately, from a Lions fan standpoint, we all get Stafford's had more than a few injuries these last 5 or 6 years. And unfortunately, if he gets hit, as I anticipate he's going to get hit this year, hey, he might not make it through the entire season, but maybe he will. I think the NFC is really in a good spot for Detroit to make a strong run and try to supplant the 49ers to get into the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens, but if I was to be a betting person, I would be betting on the Lions being in the Super Bowl this year. Drake, is there a time for the tailgate? No, there isn't, but let's just say if I want to say that's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Don't hold me to that. I don't have it in front of me, but let's just assume for right now it's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Probably have the tailgating start around 9 or 10. That way everybody's got a couple hours. For those who are going to go to the game, they can go on in. Some of those who aren't going to go into the game want to go into some of the local establishments to watch the games. They can do that too. Dennis, good morning. Dan Duke Crew, back at you, Dennis. Hopefully you're having a great day, my friend. Thanks for always being part of the show. Stephanie, I don't know. I'm planning on going. All right. Well, I think that puts us around 4 people that I'm aware of who are going to go. Patrick, of course, ESPN has to question if the Lions did enough. They have nothing else to talk about right now, laughing out loud. 1 week, they praise the team. The next week, they try to tear it down. That's how it goes. Yeah, I think anybody who's been a sports fan long enough understands, hey, this time of year, you're looking for topics. You're looking for things to go with. We can all kind of throw stones at them, but also understand the other side of it. They have a company that needs to produce talent, just no different than a newspaper needs to put out stories or YouTube needs to put out content or whatever. You got to have stuff to talk about or your industry falls. So they're going to talk and maybe even force topics at times. All right, Big Eddie, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Big Eddie. Haven't seen you in a bit. It seems like it's been a while. Brent, agreed, Patrick. I would agree with what you're agreeing. Patrick, that's life in the big city, laughing out loud, as the saying goes. 100%. I agree. Bo, we suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. That's a good one, Bo. I'll take that. Yeah, 100%. But it's also the price of our fame and our success in recent years. Dennis, ESP, there we go. Hey, you guys are thinking alike. Patrick, good morning, all. Another day closer to training camp and preseason. Then after that, it all starts to count. Yeah, and it will go by quickly. We get to there. I almost thought about doing for today's topic, should the Lions I enjoy Hard Knocks, at least when the Lions were on it. Should the Lions, and I think they've kind of started going this with their own kind of mini series, but should they just go full bore? We'll do our own Hard Knocks just on the Detroit Lions. Do a deep analyzation and get neutral people to run it, not somebody in-house like they do with the mini series or the mini movie, but get a neutral company who's not afraid or restricted by some questions they may be able to ask. I think each NFL team should do that just because it's great marketing for fan bases that are ravenous for the season to start, gives them a little bit something longer or more to kind of ingest and have fun with the season, extend the season out. But I would do it if I was in control of the Lions media. All right, Doug, which teams have more superstars than depth and vice versa? Ooh, that I don't know. That which teams have more superstars than depth? A couple years ago, you could have said the Rams because they were all in it with a couple guys for the most part. Now, this year, I don't know, man. That's a great question, and one I don't have an answer ready for there, Doug. See, Brent, whether it's good or bad talk, everyone seems to be king on the Lions. You have to be, though, don't you, Brent? Because the Lions are, let's face it, they are one of the favorites, if not the favorite, in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. And it's still going to take a while for a lot of us to process that and be in acceptance with it. But the Lions, hey, they're a great team, at least on paper. You got to go out and prove it. But yeah, I think as we get into the preseason, you're going to see that conversation go up more and more. You're going to see people say, man, are the expectations too high for the Detroit Lions? Is there too much pressure on them? Are they going to fold under the weight of all the pressure? That kind of stuff's going to come out without question. Dennis, ESPN sucks now. Anyways, man, it's not like it was in the 90s. And I can say this. The only time I ever watch it is if somebody like today sends me a clip on something or whatever. That's the only time I ever watch ESPN anymore, unfortunately. But great memories of it in the 80s and 90s. All right, Phil, every player earns an outrageous fortune. A lot of them do, but also keep in mind what those guys do to their bodies. Now, we can all be starstruck by the guys that get the huge paychecks. But even with that, they're only going to walk out with maybe 60%, maybe 55% of that check because of all the costs that go out from that check. With that also being said, the average NFL player really only gets 3 to 4 years, and what they've done to their body during that time, yeah, you might not end up wishing that on a lot of people. I mean, you guys know I blew up my hamstring and tore up my shoulder like 2 weeks ago, and while my hamstring seems fine, my shoulder's mostly fine now. But imagine going through a car wreck several times a week, when you play a game, and then doing that for X amount of years to try to help out. So what do you do to your body, man? In my opinion, there's a lot of professions. I think people get overpaid. NFL players are, overall, in my opinion, they get what they can because, man, what they do to their body, it's tough. All right, Patrick, yes, I was going to remind you to check where you – excuse me, I had to clear my throat. Yes, I was going to remind you to check where your mic is. Laughing out. Yeah, I think I've got it in a good spot, but you guys will obviously let me know. Sounds good today, Coach. Did X mark the spot? It did. It did indeed. Phil, you gaining weight, Dan? Not that I'm aware of, but I guess I'll have to check. I'll go weigh myself. Motown, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke crew. Lions rule, Bears drool. All right, fair enough. I'll go with that. Pat, everyone give the coach a thumbs up and woo! Oh, yeah. And thank you for that, Pat. Bo, thumbs up. JDC, morning all. Good morning, JDC. Pat, you hear any more about the trading John C? No, and I don't think we will until I think the writers of those stories, Pat, the only way they would see, or I would see Johnny Kaminsky get traded is if they were going to cut him and another team who could not put in a waiver wire claim for him to get him, they just know somebody else would grab him before him, say, hey, we'll give you a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick for him. That situation, I could see Kaminsky getting traded, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. All right, Dennis, yes, we'll go with that. And yes, correct. Bo, JDC, what happened? The Gunny beat you. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. Yada, yada, badass. So, good morning, Coach. Finally caught you live. Normally, I have to watch it on replay. Woo, woo, woo. Well, good morning, and thanks for catching the live show. Pat, nice show today, Coach. Glad you like it. Glad you're enjoying it. So, and good to see you out there, Pat. Brent, NFC Championship game appearance, and now we're better. Oh, yeah. And that's the crazy part. Do you think about the fact that you were within a quarter, maybe a half of making the Super Bowl, and now you're that much younger, you're much deeper overall as a team, and you've got roughly $40 million in cap space. So, yeah, it's outstanding, man. Bo, I love the way you rocked the boat last night, Brent. There, all right, fair enough. I guess I don't know what happened there. All right, Walt, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Woo! And good morning, Walt. Hopefully you have a great one. Doug, well-deserved hype. Not sure bulletin board is the way to go. Would rather, he said, we need to prove it in each and every game. Nothing is given. I like the way Laporta approaches the media. Yeah, Laporta, he seems like a pretty kind of just laid-back, ho-hum kind of guy, and to think he could get better from what he did as a rookie, that's the crazy part. Let's see, JDC, Bo Booth, I overslept. It happens, man. It happens. Bo, JDC, yes, it happens. JDC, it sure does. Walt, got good news on my bladder cancer. Biopsy came back free of cancer. Woo! Thanks for all the prayers. I'd say that's some of the best news of the day, Walt. Thanks for sharing that, and I'm sure you are happy to have heard that. So good news, my friend. Very good news. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke crew? What up there, Kurt? Hopefully you're having a good one. Doug, the company I used to work for was the feature on Cranes magazine in the late 90s, excuse me. They do a good job with a lot of different stuff. So I only pay attention to them a little bit, but sometimes they have something pop up for stocks. So I check it out, or the markets overall, I should say, not in particular stocks. But something popped up yesterday, and that's when I kind of got that tidbit about the Detroit Lions. So Doug, they're not a bad read. Bo, great news, Walt. 100%. Yeah, everybody. Great news for Walt. Miles Marker, just curious, anyone read the John Grimshaw book, Bleachers, ? It's about the East Texas high school football coaches' impact on players. I have not read that, but I kind of think I know something about it, but that's about it. JDC, Walt Martz, smiles and thumbs up. Woo! Good news. Yes, 100% good news. Great news, Walt. Grit. Patrick, Walt, Mark, that is awesome news. I will continue to remember you in my prayers. All glory to the living God. 100%. Yeah, and hopefully you continue to get good news there. Let's see. Brent, great to hear, Walt. 100%. Yes, well, very good. Kurt Steele, Walt, yes, great news. Great news. Walt, hope Matthew gets similar news next. Yes, well, hopefully we'll get an update on that soon. Miles, yay, Walt Marks, 100%. Miles, countdown. The show has frozen again. Let's hope now. Let's hope not. Courtney, Walt Marks, great news. Amen. Big Daz, if the injured players come back healthy, they could be, quote, the bomb. Well, let's hope we bomb all over the other teams and put them to rest. Dominic from Texas, good morning, and good morning to you too. Hopefully having a great one. Miles, hey, Dominic, you doing okay down there after the storm? Yeah, I know the storm ripped through, so give us an update. Let us know how you do, or did, or are doing. All of the above. Patrick, they can retool the $40 million over the next year. I think they can, but not sure. They can basically pay a bunch of existing contracts now to help free up money in the future. That is something they can do, Patrick. Yes. Roll that is. Yes, they can roll it into the future. Correct. Let's see. Big Dad, well, let's slap the like button for Coach Dan. Hey, yeah, if you guys haven't yet subscribed or liked the show, please consider doing so. Like I said, we're about 50 subs or something like that away from 6,900. We've got a little over 300 people watching live right now, so if everybody could just take a brief second of time, hit the thumbs up button, I surely would be thankful. Miles, roll your boat. There you go, Patrick Cheesebo. Walt, thanks, JDC, Hookadoo, Patrick, 100%. Yada yada badass. I wish ESPN, NFL, hell, even the media will stop giving my Lions the credit. They all bad luck, and we don't need them. We don't need bad luck. No, we do not need the bad luck. We need good luck, and hey, keep the luck coming our way. Patrick Miles Marker, laughing out loud. I deep forgetting to check my post before hitting the send, and my spelling isn't the greatest anyways. Hey, I know that problem big time. I was, no joke here, I was voted worst journalist in print media nationwide 2 years in a row, and I hold that with pride, and that was because of my spelling. I can still remember my first sports editor that hired me at the Kalamazoo Gazette, legendary guy, Hall of Fame guy, Jack Moss, because back then we didn't have spell check on the computers. He came over after me working there a couple days and put down 3 dictionaries, just slapped down my desk, and he said, "Don't you ever let these things get out of your sight." He was tired of correcting my work. See, Patrick, keep that is. Yes, keep it. Big Daz, I like it when I'm up early enough to participate. Give me that. Woo! Oh, yeah. And, hey, I like that you're here, so enjoy the show. Phil, if Lions win the Super Bowl, a whole show of nothing but woo! No talking, just woo! Yeah, I'll have to set up a lot of videos for that and just do the woo show. Yes, Bo, woos and oh yes, we'll take all that. Yeah, woos, Wu-Tang's clang ain't nothing to mess with it. Yada yada. How many our rookies do you think will make all pro? Woo! Woo! I do think that Arnold has a real good shot to be in the conversation for defensive rookie of the year. After that, as far as all pro, who knows? Maybe Rakestraw, maybe Vaki, something for special teams or something. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the season. Big Daz, right on, Bo. I'll go with that. Let's see, Bo. The air traffic control crew will enforce the no-fly zone. I think yes. I think the secondary is going to really stand out this year. Miles, coach might be struggling with the tech this morning. Let's hope not, but hey, there's always things I'm learning. I can tell you that part. Big Daz, I hope that new kicker works out. That would be another great weapon. It would be. Yeah, if Bates comes through as we are all hoping he will, yeah, that would be real nice. See, Brent, one of my favorite additions was bringing in Terrell Williams. I'm anxious to see what he does with our defensive line. Yeah, he's going to make some impact. I think that's the expectation. He's going to help develop this team to a whole new level as far as being able to get a quarterback and have a very aggressive secondary. See, Miles, I like 8-0 also, Dan, but blending these coaches and schemes with young and new players is a big mountain. I think they will do better as the season and experience goes along. Even Arizona, no gimmies. No, there's no such thing in the NFL as a gimme game, but I'm going to say this. The fact that we have back both coordinators and the vast majority of the starters for both sides of the ball, I'm just thinking we're talking about having to make some adjustments. Well, so are the rest of the teams we're facing. And some of them are going to go through a lot more learning curves or opportunities than we will early in the year because they have new quarterbacks, new offensive coordinators, new defensive coordinators, a lot more new personnel. So we'll see, though. I like the fact that that we get to start off at home, too, for the first two games. I think that will be during a big part of the learning opportunity for the players and new staff. All right, Big Dad's low mile marker. Hello to you, too. Pat. The defensive end is the one. His position I am a little worried about. Hope Bates comes out kicking butt. Woo, woo! Oh, yeah. And I think Bates, man, that dude's got a leg like you've never seen before. So now it just comes down to accuracy for him. Miles, Big Ass, how's your summer going? Let's see, Deshaun Townsend for the new DB, cornerback coach should be huge as well. I'll go with that and concur. Kurt, I have a special guest on today's Boss Up, Ball Out podcast. Boy, who could that be? I don't know. We will see. But yes, I will be stepping in on the Boss Up, Ball Out podcast after this show concludes. Let's see, Doug. Rank Brad Holmes moves top to worst. What's best? Mine was trading for Goff and the picks acquired. It'd be hard to go against that, Doug, just because the amount of talent you bring into the Detroit Lions, all for one player. And, Stafford, hey, beloved by a lot of Lions fans. He'll get a lot more love once he retires and is no longer playing against us. And you see that with other players that have departed Detroit. But with that being said, you trade a starting quarterback for a starting quarterback. You were able to get a lot of talent on this team, all for one guy. It's helped out a ton. Miles Barker sounds interesting at Kurt Steele. Yes, it does. Gary, good morning. All grit for life! ! Vacay was awesome. That's good to hear. The more I look at our secondary, the more I see them being a weakness still. Between Davis, Robertson, Mosley, they have a combined 14 interceptions. Yeah, time to step those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. We need 14 interceptions after the first quarter of the game against the Rams. That would be nice. Kurt, will he be in like Flynn? Maybe. Doug, defensive line will be ready to big battle. Lots of people with something to prove. Yeah, a lot of people going out there playing on one-year contracts. Yeah, they want to ball out this year. Ball out and boss up. That's what they want to do. Brent, yeah, Bo, I like Townsend as well. Nice to see MCDC not standing pat with the staff. Yeah, always looking to improve, always trying to get better. I like that as well. Big Daz, I always bet my wife that JDC will be first. Lost today. It happens. Eventually, not everybody wins every bet. See, Pat, like to meet you one day for dew or a few drinks and talk Lions football. Yeah, come over to the tailgate. If we pull that thing off, we'll all be able to hang on out. Kurt, laughing out loud. No live in North Carolina. Fair enough. All right, I ain't scared. Let the NFL war games begin. ! Points. Sorry, Big Daz. I'll do better. It happens, man. Hey, sometimes we all sleep in. Gary, interceptions are not ball hawks. Davis is coming off an off year and has been up and down throughout his career. Mosley is hurt too much. Robertson can get burnt deep. Then we have two unproven rookies. Yes, we have some questions for sure, but I think we should be improved over last year. All right, a couple more here, and then I've got to head out a little early today. Doug, Mosley has way more opportunities to come back than Levi, And now look how well Levi is doing. This is true. Bo, wouldn't we all like to play a game? Madden? Yes. The Madden games, I haven't played that in a while. Gary, I wouldn't be surprised if our secondary struggles, especially if the pass rush doesn't get home. It would struggle, if the pass rush doesn't get home. Bo, wasn't it tic-tac-toe? Yeah, it could be. We can play tic-tac-toe. That would be nice. Yada, yada. The only thing I didn't and still don't agree on, Brad, is extending Goff, but I really believe that will come back to bite us in the butt. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. We'll see. Hopefully, I hope, Goff, just because he's our quarterback now, I hope he takes us all the way. Let's see. Mike the Marine Gunny. Kurt Steele, did you retire and live near Fayetteville? I live near Camp, Lejeune. All right, we'll go with that. Brent, maybe ESPN should ask themselves if they've done enough to save their company. That's a good question, man. Real good question. Brent rocking the boat. All right. Pat, what game on the Lions schedule did you think is going to be the toughest? All of them. Let's go with all of them because, you don't want to overlook anybody. Bo, style tailgate. Oh, yeah, there you go. Let's see. Yada, yada, badass. Do you think the Lions defense can be top 3 defense? Man, that'd be some lofty expectations and just massive increase from a year ago. I could see us getting borderline top 10, somewhere in that conversation. But I think we're going to give up a lot of yards, but I also think we're going to make a lot of plays. Doug, he will wait with the $40 million to see who doesn't or can't produce and who is available. Nice to have money in the piggy bank. Woo! And yes, they do keep some money saved. I think they are going to try to make some moves, as long as they don't have to go over the top with spending. So go with that. I think, how about this? Brad Holmes is going to have a plan, what he wants to do with that money, and he's going to stick to that plan. JDC, Dre Forge, and Brad Holmes, rocks. Yes, they both do, and they do a great job. JDC, Brent DeWitt, rocks the boat. Probably a lot of truth to that. So a whole lot of truth to that. Let's see, Bo, y'all saw it coming. Rotation, 100%. JDC, and then more rotation. Bo, there you go. Brent, agreed, Bo. Keep our big dogs fresh. Oh, yeah. Let's see, Matthew, Green Sanitations. Good morning, everyone. Super Dome, Super Bowl. Woo! And hey, good morning to you too, Matthew. Hopefully you're doing well. JDC, tick, 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 boom. Yeah, I like that song. Let's see, Rantings Q, Green Sanitations peeps. Good to see you, Rantings. It's been a minute. Matthew, great news, Walt. Very happy for you. Unfortunately, I am not in a position to get a similar outcome. I contracted CA. Okay. I'm not sure what that. Hopefully you're doing okay, Matthew. I think I just got that. Yeah, hopefully you're doing all right, man. And hey, thoughts and prayers for you. Doug, what are the top 5 players each of us are watching during preseason and camp? For me, Rakestraw, Arnold, Hooker, probably Green, wide receiver Green, and then probably Manu. He's probably going to give me another one too. Bo, prayers, Matthew, 100%. And thoughts and prayers for you. Great Lakes, good morning. Good morning. Exclamation point. Is camp here yet? Not just yet. Who is the biggest surprise to make the team? Oh, boy. Who will be the biggest surprise to make the team? Ross. That's my pick, or Hope. And if you don't remember who he is, John Ross, I did a little bit of a video on him from training camp. He's an undrafted safety. I'm hoping he makes it because I think he's got some playmaker in him. See, Ranting Cube, preach. Mike the Marine, Gunny, thumbs up. Do it for Dan. Do it for the channel. Hopefully everybody will hit the thumbs up. Bo, Great Lakes, how's about? All right. Ranting Q, we are getting there. Yes, we are. TK85 says, Bo. Brent, prayers, Matthews, 100%. Hookadoo, Matthew, you will beat this, 1,000%. I contracted colon cancer during COVID, so it was not contagious until 2022 when doctors would finally do yearly physicals. By that time, I was stage 4. I am trying many alternatives. I'm, hey, thoughts and prayers for you, man. No joke. Thoughts and prayers, and hopefully you're doing okay. Trump Sedanis, yeah, and nothing for ESPN. All right. Bo, Matthew, the Super Bowl's for you. Woo! 100%. Let's go get the Super Bowl and get it done. JDC, keep on trucking, Matthew. Phil, where is Sarge? Is he okay? Yeah, he said he overslept. He buzzed me afterwards after the show and said, sorry, man, he just overslept. It happens, man. Frank the Tank, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! And good morning to you too, Frank. Phil, Jack Campbell is very laid back. Iowa guys. Yeah, maybe just something about him. All right, Bo, Iowa, one of the most beautiful women I ever known was from Des Moines. Yeah, there we go. I didn't know that, and now we know. Steve, what do you got? With the Dogs' attitude these rookies bring, they will adjust very quickly. I think so. Yeah, I think the coaching staff will do a good job getting them up to speed. Ranting Q, let's go, Walt. 100%. Rally for Walt. Phil, Dan, what will be the Lions' first loss? Boy, I'd have to look at the schedule now, man. I just remember I had us going like 7 or 8-0. So maybe Green Bay. That sounds about right, but don't hold me to it. I want to say Green Bay at Green Bay. All right, Dominic, for Fort Worth never gets hit with bad weather where I am. I'm so good down here. Thanks all for the concern. Yeah, glad to hear you're okay. I know Houston got hit pretty hard. Some friends of mine on the Gulf were talking to me also about how they were doing. Okay, dude. Good morning, Dominic. My niece lives in San Antonio, but has her husband's family in Houston. Yeah, I know Houston got hit. Phil, poor Matt Stafford stuck with that woman. Boo his wife. Save the kids. Could be a lot of truth to all of the above. All right, couple more. Big Dad's just trying to stay cool. Central Air went out. Had to go with portable AC units. Thanks for asking. Yeah, hopefully you're doing okay, man, because I know it's getting hot out. Bo, happy trails to you. All done and dusted. See y'all tomorrow. Bo. Hopefully have a great day. Gary, good morning, everyone. PU, all right. Good morning to you too, Gary. Hopefully you have an outstanding day, my friend. Brent, happy trails, one pride. Gary, good morning, everyone. Add me to the list for the tailgate. All right, we got a few. Phil, God bless you all, 100%. JDC, happy trails, go Lions, victory. Phil, 70-yard field goals. Man, that could actually happen this year. And then Pat, Ross is not on the roster. Not yet. I hope he gets a chance for a training camp and gets called up. Maybe gets added to the practice squad and then earns a spot. Floyd XX Natural rode out the hurricane yesterday. All is well, just lost power for a few hours. If that's all you got, man, that's not so bad. So glad you're okay. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Call it a day for the show. If there is some sort of breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as quick as possible. If you would take a moment of time, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. It helps the channel all out a lot. All right, I will see you all later today or on another show or just on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. Have a great one.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.